The devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the mummy.
Deep from the bowels of the Macabre Theater Laboratory, we bring you Macabre Cast. There is nothing wrong with your streaming service. You are exactly where you should be, where the slush puppy machine is always on and cold. Your favorite horror mag is on the rack, discreetly between Women's Wear Daily and Cosmopolitan. I'm your host, Doc Mark, along with my counterpart, Karis, the Little Mummy, here to bring you another episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping R's where they belong and adding them where they don't. This is a safe space for those who believe Sally from the OG Texas Chainsaw Massacre only brought her invalid brother Franklin to give her friends a taste of what she had to endure the entirety of her existence. Newbies welcome, regulars welcome back, and worshippers get out of here. Please, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and tell a friend to do the same. Even the guy who lacks the basic courtesy of mustering out a simple please or thank you. Yeah, that guy. If you wish to interact with fellow monster kids, follow the Facebook page, Macabre Theater. It's there where you can send me a voice message through Messenger to be part of this show. A link can be found in the description of this episode. Macabre Cast, episode 121, begins now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Adoro il cast macabro.
So please, do tell, how was Macabre Meetup Part 2? Jaws on IMAX.
There was no meat in that meetup.
No one came? No one? The theater was empty?
No, the theater was packed. Unfortunately, no one that identified as a listening monster kid showed up.
No drag pack? Well, maybe next time.
Oh, maybe, it seemed like a good idea. And even being Labor Day weekend and all, the one before it, was a pretty low turnout as well. So, I don't know. Maybe time to reinvent the wheel.
Well, maybe a joke. I can turn that frown upside down, hopefully. Why are ghosts such bad liars?
Oh, I don't know, Karis. Why are ghosts such bad liars?
Because they are totally see-through.
La encontré porque estaba la ballena agarrada entre las piedras de Chipiona de Faro.
And on that note, it's time for horror news.
Life's river showers, she said, open only the strong shall spray. She said, but I'm feeling quite weak. She said,
Welcome to Derry drops on HBO Max October 26th, just in time for Halloween. Sad news for Shudder fans. After 4 fantastic seasons, Creepshow has been canceled. Of course, there hasn't been an episode since 2023, so what took so long for the official announcement? 50 years later, Jaws rules the box office Labor Day weekend, ranking in 9.8 million. Not so bad for 50. The popular horror anthology film VHS will be releasing VHS Halloween on October 3rd. A collection of Halloween-themed videotapes unleashes a series of twisted, blood-soaked tales, turning trick-or-treat into a struggle for survival. Joe Bob Briggs will be teaming up with monster rock act Gwar for his Halloween special Splatterween, scheduled for October 24th. And that's it for horror news.
she said,
And Draven agrees. Draven the blood-vomiting bat.
Children of the night, what music they make.
Anyway, I hope that everybody's Labor Day was a peaceful, nice end to summer.
Other than the no meat meetup that you had, what did you do?
Well, Sunday I visited with my 85-year-old dad, and that was nice. And on Monday I barbecued. I made spicy hot chicken wings with extra red hot and Stubbs barbecue sauce, the Southern Heat.
Sounds yummy.
Oh, Laura Harr thought so.
Did she wear her shoulder off Flash Dance shirt?
I can't with you right now.
Hard chat there.
Hey, Doc Mark, Little Cars, and all the Monster Kids hang out at the theater this week. It's Horror Chat Matt back again. So, Doc, your topic this week, which in-movie story may possibly be more frightening than this actual movie that it's featured in? I have 3 examples for you. Number 1 is a movie I just recently rewatched with my daughter, and that's Night of the Living Dead, when Ben tells the story of what happened at the diner that he was at when the outbreak first happened. Sounds like it could have been an amazing scene if they had the time and money to actually film it. I feel like we're really missing out on that. Another thing that we're really missing out on is the ending to the story of my example number 2, and that's the cemetery keeper in Halloween telling the story of the Bowles murders in Russellville to Dr. Sam Loomis as they're walking to Judith Meyer's gravestone. And just as he gets the climax of the story, they discover that her gravestone is missing, and he starts going on a rant about the kids. And we never get the ending to that story. Number 3 is a story that this movie could have done without, and it's a very odd choice. I don't think Gremlins was originally made as a kids movie, but growing up in the 80s, it was considered a kids movie. But they had one scene where Phoebe Cates explains why she doesn't like Christmas anymore. And I will never understand why they included this into the movie, because it really doesn't pay off in any way other than just being a disturbing story. And a scene when I was originally showing my daughter Gremlins when she was younger that I would fast forward through, because there's just a lot of information there that a young kid didn't need to have. And you know what? I'm having so much fun here. I'm going to give you a bonus scene. And that's from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And all I have to tell you is Large Marge sent me. As always, Doc, make mine Macabrecast.
Horror Chat Matt, so great each week with grabbing the topic by the horns and nailing it every time. Great choices. And Gremlins, exactly. Gremlins is a fun movie, a great movie. And yes, I believe it's aimed at kids, or at least preteens. And why Dante and Spielberg have Phoebe Cates tell this story that's absolutely horrific. And a great story. Yeah, maybe even in some other movie. But the decision to put it in that movie was always a bit strange to me. Great horrific story nonetheless, but does it belong in Gremlins? I think not. And yes, the classic story that happened over in Russellville during Halloween, another great choice, and The Night of the Living Dead, and Large Marge, which we get a little teeny piece of, as you know. But that story, that could have been a whole other movie, really, or a big part of another movie. Always so great to hear from you, Horror Chat, and we can't wait to hear from you again next week. So yes, the topic this week is stories told in a horror film that sound more frightening and horrific than what we are actually watching. And the example I gave was Quint's story about his experience on the USS Indianapolis and Jaws. Mine would be Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D. Chris's tale about running into Jason years ago. Her tale in the film is very vague, but it hints at Jason being rapey. Now, until this chapter, rape was never a part of Jason's MO, but again, her story is never really made clear.
I should have told you everything a long time ago, but I couldn't.
Look, Chris, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I want to. I want you to know what happened so you'll understand. I don't know if you remember, but when you dropped me off that night, it was very late. The minute I walked in the door, my parents started yelling at me and cursing me. Such a big fight. My mom slapped me. I ran out the door and into the woods. I wanted to punish them, so I decided to hide out all night. I thought I'd get them so worried that they'd be sorry for what they did. It had been raining and the woods were cold and wet, but I found a dry spot under an old oak tree. I guess I fell asleep. All I can remember next is being startled out of sleep by the sound of footsteps. I was sure it was Dad, so I just sat up and I listened for him. This cracking noise behind me. I turned around, and standing there was this hideous-looking man. He was so grotesque, he was almost inhuman. He had a knife, and he attacked me with it. He ran after me, and he caught me, and he pulled me down to the ground. I was kicking and screaming and yelling, but it didn't do any good. He dragged me along the ground. I blacked out. I don't know what happened after that. I just don't know.
It was confirmed, however, by the filmmakers that yes, in fact, Chris was to have been raped by Jason. It was the actress that played Chris, Dana Kimmel, who refused to say her dialogue, which I'm glad they didn't go down that road and make Jason into a rapist as well as a killer. But I always found it weird that, especially in the early 80s, that they being Hollywood, would allow the actress to decide what would be said as far as dialogue. It almost seems, well, not believable. But this is the story that all involved went with, so I guess it is what it is. But yes, Chris's story sounds a lot more horrific than what's actually going on in the film.
Hi, Macabre Theater. Hi, Dark Mark. Hi, Karis, the little mummy. How are you? Grim Kim checking in. No, unfortunately, I couldn't make it to Jaws, Mark. I am so sorry. I would have loved to have done that. Just low-key week. There's just some stuff I have to work out. It's been keeping my mind kind of occupied, but I did watch the first season of Channel Zero. This is an older show from Sci-Fi Network. 4 seasons. I do want to watch the other 3 seasons, and I'm wondering if anyone on here has seen the seasons. The first season was great with Jawbone the puppet and this tooth monster. And yeah, I like the idea of the other seasons too, because they're all each just 6 episodes long. It's nice and finite. So yeah, my movie buddy did not enjoy Channel Zero and does not want to watch the other episodes, other seasons, but I do, and they all look interesting in their own way. Yeah, kind of horror, kind of maybe Black Mirror-ish in a way. I won't know until I watch one of the other seasons. But at any rate, yeah, I'd recommend it. Like I said, I'm interested if anyone else has seen them. I have not seen Weapons yet. Neither has Grim Twin, but we would like to very, very, very soon. And I like what you're saying about slow your roll. You're not sure how you feel about it. And I'm glad that you mentioned about it skipping around. I think my son mentioned that. He really enjoyed it. So pretty much whatever he enjoys, I know I'm going to enjoy to a certain extent. So I am still looking forward to that. Thank you for no spoilers, Mark. I appreciate that. Otherwise, I wonder if other people have seen the 2025 movie, The Monkey by Oz Perkins. I was seeing some clips, so I kind of want to watch it, kind of don't. Is it worth my time? You know what I mean? That, for one of Stephen King's short stories, is fantastic, by the way. I don't know if anyone's ever read that one. I can't tell you which anthology it's in, but I really enjoyed that story nonetheless. Okay, I just wanted to touch base and say hello, and that's it. Hope to hear from you guys soon. I'm missing a couple episodes I have to go back and listen to. My apologies. Okay, take care. Talk to you later.
I have not seen every episode of Channel Zero, but back when I did, I didn't care for it. So I only saw a few of them and never went back to it. And my son loves the movie Weapons. And he has seen both Weapons and Barbarian, which I liked Barbarian far more. And I've said this before, total opposite for him. He thought Weapons was great. He thought Barbarian was okay. And The Monkey, which I loved and is now one of my favorite King adaptions. In case you missed it, my review of The Monkey was Macabre Cast episode 95, so you could even give that a listen. I go a little more in depth about the film. But always great to hear from you, Grim Kim, and we hope to hear from you again real soon. Next week?
Well, I don't know about Channel Zero, but I've been watching a lot of Netflix lately. And I don't think there's anything more messed up than that documentary, Unknown Number. Now that is scary.
Yes, Unknown Number on Netflix. That's about the cyberbullying, right? The high school cyberbullying. Yeah, that was jaw-dropping. But I'm going to say no more. Check that out when you have free time. Unknown Number. Now the perfect way to enjoy your morning coffee wearing your Macabre Cast t-shirt and drinking Java from your 15-ounce Macabre Cast mug. T-shirts $13, coffee mug $17. Both include your shipping. Message me for Venmo info. Welcome to Cobwebbed Classics, where I dust off a lost, forgotten, or just plain unappreciated film and introduce it to, or maybe just remind you about it, so your spooky Saturday night might run a little creepier. This week's Cobwebbed Classic is 1973's Theater of Blood, directed by Douglas Hickox and starring the master of horror, Vincent Price.
Critics are likely to make enemies, Inspector.
Inspector, are you saying that some lunatic in the theater might be trying to kill us all?
You deliberately humiliated me before the press, my public and my peers.
Surely the entire might of the London police force can prevent us from being killed.
We shall see. I will grind your bones to dust.
What's the next murder, Inspector?
Intended murder, you mean, Sergeant?
Practically a spoof of his immensely popular film, The Abominable Dr. Phibes. But do I dare say done better? I've never been a huge fan of the abominable Dr. Phibes films, but Theater of Blood is one of my favorites. Price plays an old-school Shakespearean actor who can't seem to transcend into new theater roles, now bent on revenge against critics who gave the annual Best Actor award to an upcoming actor rather than him. This is also Vincent Price's favorite film, coincidentally. This was shot on location in and around London. No scenes were shot in a studio. A love affair between Price and his co-star Cole Brown began during this film when he was still with wife number 2. Vincent Price chews up every scene, and the movie is filled with gruesome deaths. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest that you do. It's definitely worth a look. Taglines for this gem are as follows. It's curtains for his critics. Vincent Price has reserved a seat for you in the Theater of Blood. He gave the critics a bloody taste of their own medicine. 1973's Theater of Blood is this week's
Cobwebbed Classics. Follow me now, and you will not regret leaving the life you led before we met. You are the first to have this love of mine, forever with me till the end of time.
My next story in a horror film being told that seems worse than what we're watching goes to A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors, where they talk about a kid who, in order to stop his nightmares, sliced off his own eyelids. That's pretty gruesome. Horrible mention. Today's horrible mention goes to 2021's The Scary of 61st. This unrated cash grab, directed by Dasha Nekrasova, tries to pretend it's telling us a psychological story about a global elite pedophile. A girl claiming to be a realtor, but really is an investigator, fudges her way into an apartment that was owned by none other than Jeffrey Epstein. You can't even say that this must be a student film because you'd be insulting film students everywhere. Avoid this float in the poo parade at all costs. Horrible mention. Inside, from 2007, a French film directed by Alexandre Bastillo. Sarah, who is pregnant, survives a horrific car accident. Sadly, the father of her baby does not. On Christmas Eve, the night before the baby is due, someone begins aggressively stalking and harassing her. Before she even becomes aware of what is going on, the situation becomes far more sinister. Intensely suspenseful and extremely gory. Great music score as well. Trigger warning to animal lovers, watch out for that cat scene. Even this 80s veteran had to turn away and wince several times during the last 15 minutes. 4 out of 5 stars. Dark Mark says, check it out.
Go check it out. Go check it out. Go check it out.
Goditi questo episodio de Cast Macabro.
Thank you, Maria Monstalia, for telling our Italian friends to enjoy this episode of Macabrecast. Thomas Wolfe, the famous author, wrote, "You can't go home again." But if you've read it, you know it's not a literal statement. It's because your home, the people in it, and you have changed. Everything seems smaller, different, and almost synthetic. Nothing freezes in time. Everything evolves, even if the evolution is the town quick stop crumbling and becoming replaced with a vape shop. Memories can be glorified and idealized and can hardly contend with your recollection. It's easy sometimes to miss the past. It's natural. But the past can never really be revisited. The only way is forward. Continue to fight for a better future with new memories to look back on. You can't retreat to the safety of your childhood. That is, if your childhood was even safe. But strength endured from your life experiences can be the tool for mentoring the next generation or generations. Beware the moon. Keep clear of the moors. But most of all, remember, be good to yourself. This is Dark Mark, signing off. See you soon, I hope. This is a Macabre Theater production. Subscribe us.